Hello friends, how are you? Shall we start our class today? So let's go. One bright morning, Farmer John stood by the gate, looking out at the empty field where his favorite horse used to graze. The news of the horse running away traveled quickly, and soon a group of villagers arrived at the farm to express their sympathy. "John, this is such bad luck," exclaimed Sarah, wringing her hands. "Your horse was the best in the village." "Yes, everyone knows how much you relied on that horse," added Thomas, shaking his head. "What will you do now?" Old Martha nodded gravely. "I can't imagine how hard this must be for you. Such a terrible thing to happen." Farmer John listened calmly, a faint smile on his face. "Good or bad, who knows?" he replied, his tone steady. The villagers exchanged puzzled glances. "How can this not be bad?" asked Thomas, bewildered. "Losing your horse is surely a misfortune." "Perhaps it is," said Farmer John, shrugging lightly. "Or perhaps it isn't. Time will tell." A week passed, and as dawn broke, Farmer John heard a commotion near the edge of his farm. Stepping outside, he froze in astonishment. There, standing proudly in his field, was his horse, and not alone. 4 wild horses had followed it back to the farm. The news spread like wildfire, and soon the villagers gathered, their faces glowing with excitement. "John, look at this fortune," exclaimed Sarah, her voice rising. "Your horse has returned, and with friends. This is incredible," Thomas said, pointing at the strong, majestic horses. "It's as if you've won the lottery." Old Martha clasped her hands together. "A blessing, John. What luck you have." Farmer John stroked his horse's mane, his expression calm. "Good or bad, who knows?" he replied quietly. The villagers stared at him, bewildered by his response. "But this is clearly good," Thomas insisted. "These wild horses could make you rich." "Perhaps," said Farmer John, his tone steady. "Or perhaps not. Time will tell." The villagers exchanged puzzled looks, but eventually left, buzzing with talk about John's peculiar way of seeing things. With the new horses on his farm, Farmer John's son, David, couldn't resist the urge to tame one. Early one morning, he approached the strongest of the wild horses, gripping a rope tightly. "Careful, David," warned Farmer John, leaning on the fence. "These horses are untamed. They'll do as they please." "I can handle it, Father," David said with a determined grin. The villagers passing by stopped to watch. "He's brave, I'll give him that," remarked Thomas. But as David swung himself onto the horse's back, the animal reared violently, throwing him off with a powerful jolt. David landed hard, a sharp cry escaping him. The villagers gasped in alarm and rushed over. "John, this is terrible," exclaimed Sarah, kneeling beside David. "His leg, it looks broken. Someone fetch the doctor," Thomas shouted, panicked. Old Martha clasped her hands. "Such misfortune, John." First the horse runs away, and now this. Farmer John crouched beside his son, inspecting the injury. Despite the concern in his eyes, he remained calm. Good or bad, who knows? He murmured. But John, Sarah whispered, incredulous, your son might not walk properly again. How can this not be bad? Farmer John met her gaze, his voice steady. Perhaps it is. Or perhaps it isn't. Time will tell. The villagers left the farm that evening, their hearts heavy with worry for David. A month after David's accident, a cloud of tension loomed over the village. Soldiers on horseback arrived, their armor glinting in the sun, as they went from house to house, recruiting young men for the ongoing war. The air was thick with fear. When they reached Farmer John's home, the officer in charge looked at David, who was sitting on a wooden chair near the door, his leg still in a splint. "Can he stand?" the officer asked curtly. "No, sir," John replied calmly. "His leg is broken and healing." The officer frowned. "Then he's of no use to us. We'll move on." As the soldiers rode away, the villagers gathered at John's farm once again. "You are so lucky, John," said Sarah, relief evident in her voice. "If not for his injury, David would be taken to fight." "Yes," agreed Thomas. "Who knows what could happen in the war? This is truly a blessing." Old Martha nodded solemnly. It seems the accident was a stroke of fortune after all. Farmer John looked at the worried faces around him. "Good or bad, who knows?" he said, his voice steady. "John, you can't still believe this could be bad," Sarah protested. "Your son is safe." "Perhaps it is good," John replied with a faint smile. "Or perhaps it isn't. Time will tell." The villagers, once again puzzled by his calm and detached outlook, drifted back to their homes, unable to shake John's words from their minds. Days had passed since the draft left the farm, and the quiet twilight of the evening approached with a serene calm over Farmer John's land. In the soft glow of the setting sun, the farmer sat on his porch, surrounded by a small group of concerned villagers gathered for one final conversation. The air was laden with memories of loss, unexpected returns, painful accidents, and unforeseen fortunes. Even the gentle breeze seemed to echo the eternal question, what is truly good or bad? Sarah, known for her heartfelt concern, asked softly, "John, after all these events, how do you remain so composed? Losing your horse, its miraculous return, David's accident, and the draft all seem to be extremes of misfortune or blessing." Farmer John looked thoughtfully into the fading light and replied, "When I reflect on each event, I see that every moment holds both sadness and hope. Each twist has contributed to the tapestry of my life. In truth, what appears as loss may hide unexpected fortune, and what seems like misfortune may reveal later blessings." Thomas, ever the curious one, interjected, "But surely some incidents must be clearly labeled as either good or bad?" John smiled gently and said, "Not exactly. When the horse ran away, it felt like a terrible loss. Yet, its return with wild companions taught me that fortune comes in mysterious ways. When David fell and was injured, it filled our hearts with worry, but it also spared him from the perils of war. Every event is a thread, interwoven in a greater design that we cannot fully comprehend at once. Old Martha nodded slowly and added, "It appears that fate has its own hidden plan, one that reveals its beauty only in hindsight." John continued, "Life is neither entirely good nor wholly bad. Each moment serves as a lesson and a seed that grows into wisdom. By accepting life without rushing to judgment, we allow ourselves to see the delicate balance between joy and sorrow, loss and gain, fortune and misfortune." The villagers fell silent, each touched by his quiet wisdom. As darkness settled and stars emerged, they departed with a renewed sense of inner peace. The night embraced the farm in quiet understanding, leaving behind a lingering message of hope that every experience contributes to the eternal balance of life. In that reflective moment, every weary heart found solace and deep understanding. It's great to see you here. Tell me in the comments what you thought of the story and what level of difficulty it was for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you don't miss new stories, and like if you liked it. I'll see you next time. Bye.